Yeah, we just have to do what she does for the other one all day. Some other things. Yeah, I'm taking the lights are really. Yeah. Martians, right? Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. So, so fun. He's like, start doing some. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, having to do. Right. Tell me come back. Which is good. But at the same time, I can't see stuff.
May I have a volunteer to light the candle? Anyone else? We have one more candle. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Next page. 5 precepts. Pāṇātipātā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi, adinādāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi, kāmesu miccāචārā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi, musāvādā veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi, surameraya majja pamadatthāna veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyāmi. The affirmative vows based on 5 precepts. Being aware of the suffering caused by the destruction of life, I vow to cultivate compassion and learn ways to protect the lives of all living beings. Being aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, stealing, and oppression, I vow to respect the property of others who are in their need. caused by sexual misconduct. I vow to respect commitments and those of others. I am determined not to engage in relations without love and long-term commitment. Being aware words can create suffering, I vow to learn to speak truthfully and develop peaceful, kind, and meaningful speech.
Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattva deva manussanang buddho bhagavati.
Homage to the Dhamma.
Swakhato bhagavata dhammo sangdetthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko paccattam veditabbo
Homage to the Sangha.
Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho samiti patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho yadidang cattari purisa yugani anta purisa punggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho ahuniyo pahuniyo dakkhiniyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyakkettang lokassati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Next page. Offerings. Offering of light.
Ganasarappaditthena dīpena tamadhangsina tilokadīpang sambuddhaṃ pujayami tamunudam.
Offering of incense.
Gandha sambhara yuttena dupena ham sugandhina pujaye pujaniyantam puja bhajana muttamam.
Offering of flowers.
Vannagandha gunopetang etang kusuma santatim pujayami muning dasasa siripada saruruhe pujayami buddhaṃ kusumena nena punyena metena labami mokkhaṃ uppang milantha te Pacchayang imang anukampang upada patikan
Worship of shrines.
Wandami cetiyang sambang Sambedhani supatititang Saririka dhatu mahabodhing Buddha rupang sakalang sada Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Next page. Wish of well-being.
Namaste mano ratenatante yang punya bisandang Vipulang aratang tasansanu bhavene hatante rayo
Reflections on the teaching of the Buddha. In English, mind is the forerunner of all experiences. Mind is chief. Mind made are they. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows like the wheel that follows the foot of the ox.
Mind is the forerunner of all experiences. Mind is chief. Mind made are they. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows like long shadow that never leaves. Generosity, kind words, benevolent action towards others, and equanimity towards all beings and all things. These bonds of sympathy function in the world like a linchpin in a moving cart. One by one, little by little, moment by moment, wise people should remove their impurities as a smith removes the dross from silver. For one who mindfully develops boundless loving kindness, mental defilements are weakened and the freedom from clinging is seen. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees with this wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory. When one sees with this wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All things are not self. When one sees with this wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Welcome everyone for the meditation session. So we are all going to make an inner journey, a journey that we are going inside ourselves. We will guide our attention to go into our body and then generate one of the most wholesome mental states, that is loving kindness. So usually our mind experiences different states based on the external environment or the people that we are with. But we also have the ability to purposely guide our mind to experience different states. So in this practice, we are going to purposely guide our mind and channel our mind to a wholesome place of loving kindness, and then also a mindfulness or clarity when we do our meditation on breathing. So our mind is like a flow, like a river. It flows all the time. But now we are going to take some charge of it and purposely channel it to a wholesome place. So make a determination that I will engage in this practice wholeheartedly and rejoice. Rejoice this opportunity that you are going to help yourself to experience the moments of clarity and also moments of loving kindness. So rejoice this exercise, this practice that you are doing, and make a determination, I will engage in this practice wholeheartedly. I will make use of this whole opportunity, this space, this gathering, this guidance. Now I will engage in a committed practice. With that determination, let us listen to the sound of the bell and keep focusing on the sound to help ourselves to gather our attention to this present moment. And then we will also listen to the chant Namo Buddhaya to further help ourselves to gather our attention and settle down into the present moment. Let us settle in our body. For this moment, we can simply come to our body and just be with our body. This is a good time to return to our body and just feel, acknowledge all the sensations in the body. Whenever we are with our body, we are in the present moment. And body can help us as an anchor to keep our attention in the present moment and gradually settle it down. Just feel your legs where they touch. Feel that sensation of touch. Feel where your body meets the cushion or chair. Closely observe the pressed muscles against the weight of your body. And then feel the whole back area. And just notice there are spots in the back that you can feel your clothes, maybe around your shoulder blades. And feel your shoulders and slowly go down to your arms and then feel the palms, subtle sensations in the palms and the tips of your fingers. You can also notice the whole front part of your body, the whole belly area, the chest area. With this awareness of the body, we will relax our whole body. This is a good opportunity for us to give a chance to this body to completely relax and release all the tightness and feel ease and comfort. We can do it with our breath. We can allow a long breath. Just take a slow, long breath in, slowly filling your lungs. Keep it long and filling the lungs and the belly. And release that air very slowly, allowing the whole chest to drop and relax. And take another slow, long breath in and release that air also, releasing, relaxing the belly. Taking another slow, long breath in and release that air also, relaxing, releasing everything. Let this body to simply relax here. And we will now bring our whole attention to our mind. We will let in this body to rest. We will pay our whole attention to our mind. And closely watch what is in our mind right now. Simply notice whatever the thoughts, memories that are occurring in our mind right now. Allow any thought to occur. We will simply notice them one by one. Without developing any thought further, we will simply notice the occurrence of thoughts, memories, one after the other. Various thoughts can occur, and this is how our mind generally operates. But right now, we will purposely guide ourselves to a wholesome direction. We will use this peaceful, calm moment to generate a wholesome state of the mind. This is a conducive environment for our mind to generate a wholesome, quality, loving kindness. One of the wholesome positive qualities that we all have, our readiness to care, our genuine wish of well-being towards everyone, our friendliness towards all beings, and our willingness for everyone to be well, and that is loving kindness. We all have this capacity in the deep in our mind. This is the time to bring it out. Am I willing, if everyone is safe? Am I willing, if all people, if all beings are healthy and happy? We have that willingness. Let us bring it out and manifest that willingness, that wholesome quality, loving kindness. Let us open our heart. No matter what happened in the day, we will not let all these things happen in the day to prevent us from growing, manifesting this loving kindness. We will simply accept everything and allow this loving kindness to manifest. We will generate a willingness for everyone to be well. Let us open our heart just like when we see a little baby. A little baby, when we see a smiling face of a little baby. Or whenever we get a chance to pet a little kitten or a puppy or any other pet, remember the warmth, the openness of the heart, readiness to care in such moments. Let us generate the same level of openness, the warmth right now. Everyone in this world is like a baby. All are looking for attention, care. Some are skillful and wise, some are not skillful and wise. We will just try to generate the empathy, compassion, and loving kindness to all beings. We will direct this loving kindness to all kinds of people, wholeheartedly, accepting and wishing all of them with forgiveness, with compassion. We will make wishes of well-being again and again to grow our loving kindness. We will start with ourselves. We will start wishing well-being to ourselves. We are also one of the living beings. We will start with this living being sitting here. Feel your presence. Feel your being here. And wholeheartedly make a nice, good wish. With removing all the conditions and genuinely wish, may this person sitting here be well, be strong, be healthy, Be peaceful. Let us feel kind to ourselves. Let us be generous to ourselves. Let us make all good wishes to ourselves. It is not selfish to wish well-being to ourselves. It's simply caring for the self, just like caring for anyone else. Wholeheartedly wish all the well-being. May I be well, be strong, be healthy, be peaceful. Let us also extend this loving kindness to our own body, wishing well-being and healing to each part of the body, with deep appreciation of each organ and each system of this body, which are working day and night for us to live this precious life. We will direct this loving kindness to all the parts of the body with deep appreciation. May these lungs, which are helping us right now to breathe, may these lungs and the whole respiratory system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this heart, cardiac muscles, the whole cardiovascular system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this digestive system, all the organs in this digesting system, stomach, liver, pancreas, intestine, colon, the whole digestive system be well, be healthy, be healed. May these kidneys, may these both kidneys and whole genitourinary system be well, be healthy, be healed. May this nervous system, the central nervous system, the spinal cord, brain stem, the middle brain, the frontal lobe, this whole nervous system. Be well, be healthy, be healed. Let us radiate this loving kindness throughout this body, sending this intention of loving kindness to all different parts of the body. May all the bones in this body, all these joints in this body, and all the muscles, and all the cells be well, be healthy, be healed. We have expanded our loving kindness throughout the body, genuinely appreciating and expanding loving kindness throughout the body. Let us now expand this wish beyond ourselves to everyone else. Let us wish the same well-being to all others. With full of generosity, we will wish the same well-being to all others. First, bring to your mind whoever the beloved people in your life, people who care for you, and all your beloved family members, friends. Just for a moment, wish all of them the same well-being. May these beloved people be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. Let us now expand this wish beyond these beloved people to all other people who are living with us in the same area. Let us wish for all people in this whole city, in this whole surrounding area. Whoever the people living in this whole surrounding area, in this whole city, neighboring cities, in this whole region, may all of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Let's expand this wish as wide as we can. All people living everywhere everyone is equally vulnerable to experience suffering. Everyone is going through some kind of hardships in their lives. Let us take a moment to wish well-being to all these people. Let us take a moment to wish all people living in each direction. May all people living in the cities, countries, and regions in the direction that we are facing, whoever the people living in this direction right now, in our front direction, may all people living in faraway places, cities, countries in this direction, in the front direction, be well, be well, be well, be peaceful. May all people, all beings living in the direction of our right, may all people living in faraway places, cities, and countries in this direction right now, be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people living in the direction of our back, may all people living in faraway places in our direction of our back, may all of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people living in the direction of our left, may all people living in faraway places in this direction of our left, may all of them be well, be safe, be healthy, be peaceful. May all people living in any direction, may all other living beings, let us expand this loving kindness as wide as we can, to include as many beings as we can to this wish. May all other animals, the large ones, the medium ones, and the tiny ones, may all forms of life living everywhere. Let us take a moment to think about all of them. And just take a moment. Wish well-being to all beings. May all beings, whatever life forms there may be, each and every living organism without exception. Be well. Be well. Be well. Be peaceful. 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 Expand this loving kindness to all directions and embrace all beings with this loving kindness, with no exception. Just wish all living beings. Rejoice this limitless love, this boundless loving kindness, this immeasurable loving kindness. Just rejoice. With this rejoice, let us now gently bring our whole attention to our breath. Let us now gradually move to deepen the inner peace. With this wholesome loving kindness mind, we will now settle down our mind further and further. You can feel your breath in this peaceful, calm moment. You can notice the flow of the air through the nostrils. You can feel the touch sensation of that air in your nostrils, in the back of your throat. You can even feel the feeling of your lungs. When you breathe out, you can experience the warm air coming out, touching the same areas. You can also feel this air in your upper lips when it is going out. This breath is the best anchor to keep our attention and simply let everything settle down and allow our mind to go into a deeper and deeper level of inner peace. This breath is like the nutriment, this whole body. And this breath is the bedrock of our life. Most of the time, we take this breath for granted and we ignore it. But at this moment, let us bring our full attention, with deep respect. Let us witness this breath. Try to explore all the details of this sensation. Let us be with our breath for next few minutes, noticing the whole sensations. Keep bringing back the attention to the breath again and again. Whenever you have other thoughts or memories, simply acknowledge them and then bring back the attention to the breath. Just be with the breath, rest with the breath, and let our mind experience deeper and deeper level of calmness. Be with your breath. Try to feel it as closely as you can. And simply allow your mind to rest with the breath. Bhaya Patantaj Nibbaya Sukapantaj Nisoka Hontu Sabbepi Paninu. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are grieving be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Gently come out of your meditation and gently put your palms together and place them against your chest. Let us take a moment to feel grateful for this opportunity to have peaceful meditation in our life. Let us feel grateful to all great teachers, enlightened masters in the past who passed this wisdom from generation to generation. Let us feel grateful to anyone who helped our meditation tonight. And even feel grateful to these non-living things which helped our meditation, including the chair, the cushion that you are sitting on, this bell, and this device that help you to connect to meditation from home. And with deep gratitude to all people and all things that made this meditation possible for us today. Let us say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Here you can change your leg and move it a little bit any sharing about the meditation practice? We'll be back. Yes. Yeah, we miss you for a few weeks. Yes.
I just have, so like sometimes when I'm doing the meditation on the breath, it goes between, like, for me being aware of my breath and feeling present and not thinking about the future or the past or any of that, and like especially the crickets, like hearing them. But then sometimes it goes to just like almost like no thought whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Should I be like trying to do one or the other, or just as it comes, let it be?
I think that what you would experience as like no disturbance is the result.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not something you can kind of purposely go. So I mean, as long as you kind of whatever happening, you just simply acknowledge them without being like going after them and keep your attention in the experience of the breath. And the result will be those moments of mind that is so like a superbly peaceful, like no disturbance. So your effort should be like whenever there is sound, whenever some kind of memory is occurring, quickly notice them. Quickly notice them and simply acknowledge them and don't let them grow more than that. And then you will experience those moments that you experience will be longer. and then eventually you will also feel more like a lightness of the body too, like a whole different realm. Yes. Yeah. Good. I mean, I remember. I mean, you have been practicing meditation with us for a long time, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, of course, there are some periods you didn't come, but that shows that you have been like you have continued your practice. So I mean, when you ask that, what I can do, like whether I can, whenever there are sounds happening, I'm big, and then whether I focus more on those like moments that you have no thoughts. So we can't simply create that. The second one, what we can do is like be vigilant. Whatever kind of things that will drag your attention, be vigilant, and whatever occurs, you become aware of it, notice it. You simply notice it's simply an occurrence. Don't develop secondary thoughts about it. That's all we can do. And what we experience as a result will be those extremely peaceful state of the mind that are no disturbances. Okay. So today is actually the last Wednesday that falls within the 3 months rain retreat, because next Sunday is our Katina ceremony. The celebration of the conclusion of the rain retreat is also the full moon day. So this time, we we select the Sunday, the first Sunday, because the full moon day marks the conclusion of the rain retreat. Usually, we have our robe offering ceremony after the full moon, but this time it happens to fall on the Sunday itself. So in other temples, they have their ceremonies on the following Sundays, but since we had to do our ceremony outside, we took the first Sunday, so we can still have the ceremony outside without much cold. So this Sunday will be the conclusion of the rain retreat, and so we started reciting this daily recitation. Those who came at the beginning of the rain retreat got this card, right? So you have the card, I think, with you, and our goal is to like recite this card every morning. So throughout these 3 months, as a way of being familiar with the Noble Eightfold Path and developing these resolutions, this inclination every morning. Anyone would like to share with me, how did you do? Of course, there could be days that you missed it, but anyone would like to share? How did you do?
Well, I make coffee every morning, and that's when I read that. That's I'm making the coffee. So
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because it changed in its meaning.
Very good.
And
Very good.
kind of morphed different directions.
Yeah.
As the weeks went by. And I'm going to continue to read it I'm waiting for the water to heat up.
Yeah. I think in every rainy retreat period, we will produce a chanting card. I mean, Kay, you used to like the previous one also, right?
I still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to say it too.
Yeah. Were you reciting this one too?
Mm-hmm.
Because this time we had the goal like study the Noble Eightfold Path throughout the rainy retreat period and also do the recitation along that. So may I continue to clarify and deepen my understanding of the results of my volitional actions and the Four Noble Truths. That's the right understanding, right? And may I continue to develop intentions of letting go, loving kindness, and compassion. That's the second item in the Noble Eightfold Path, right thoughts or right intention. May I continue to develop truthful and kind speech. May I continue to act compassionately and honestly. That's right action. May I continue to earn my living in harmless ways. May I continue to make efforts to abandon unwholesome thoughts and cultivate healthy and beneficial thoughts. May I continue to be mindful of the body and mind. That is right mindfulness. May I continue to meditate and calm my mind to see things with insight. That's the right concentration. So, so for the last time today, we will, use our chanting. We have a study sheet today. Uh, the next Wednesday, we have to start a new series. New topic, yeah.
What's it gonna be?
Haven't decided.
Here's the extras.
So this is the kind of program that that Buddha has recommended us to overcome our dukkha, which means overcome our suffering, overcome our limitations, and overcome our dissatisfaction or unhappiness that we experience, in our life. So it's more like the program to transform ourselves, transform our understanding, transform our behavior, transform our inner habits, transform actually the very mechanism of the mind, how our mind operates. The last three items are about, changing the way our mind works. The first two items are about, like changing our understanding. The next three is about changing our behavior, and the last three is about changing the way our mind works. The way our mind works is not permanent. And the way our mind works right now is not the optimal way that our mind can work. It's how we have been conditioned it so far. So the last three is like a purposely reworking and changing it, and even changing our whole neural network as a way to change the way our mind works, and changing it to the level that we find any difficulty experience in the world that we find is we kind of know how to handle it, move through it without being so much being disturbed by it. So that's the kind of the goal of this Noble Eightfold Path. So it's a start with right understanding of our conditions, right understanding of exactly how we experience any unhappiness in our life. I think our basic part of the right understanding is that our volitional actions, whatever things that we do purposely, has some impact on our consciousness, and our actions attract things to our life. Our volitional actions, with what you call karma. I try to because the moment you hear that word karma, you have all the other associated meanings, like sometimes misconceptions. But if you think about volitional actions, our volitional actions have the power to attract different situations to our life. So that's one part of right understanding. So it shows that the conditions of our life is largely results of our previous volitional actions and also our present volitional actions. If we change our actions right now, it will have a different scenario. So it's not all kind of predetermined. But whatever we have done is already kind of affecting us, but it's not over yet. And whatever volitional action that we are doing right now will change what we are going to experience next. So we learn that the quality of our life is largely constructed, like produced, by our volitional actions. But we know that there are also other factors that is out of our control. But volitional actions we can control and we can change. And the more deeper level of right understanding is to understand that our unhappiness, our suffering, our dissatisfaction has no one to blame. Because we understand now that our dukkha, our dissatisfaction, our unhappiness, suffering, whatever word you want to call it, this whole human problem, predicament, and it is a causal product, and it's not caused by someone else. It's not also caused by completely oneself. there's no one to blame for our suffering. That's the important part of the right understanding. There's no one outside of ourselves to blame, and we also cannot completely blame ourselves too. It's a causal product. It's something that happens when causes and conditions are met, and we definitely put very important ingredients, very important, condition for that. And so the understanding this, our human experience, and particularly our suffering, our dissatisfaction, and happiness is a causal product. It shows that it is not a must. Although, vast majority of us are experiencing unhappiness, lack of unhappiness, and suffering most of the time, it is not a must. It simply arises when certain causes and conditions are there. And some conditions are simply natural conditions, such as impermanence, that is how things operate, so we cannot change that. But but there are also things elements that we put in, and particularly our self-centered craving, our wanting things differently than what it is. And our craving for our self-identity, craving for our craving for our sensual indulgence without limits. So our craving for sensual indulgence is not considered real bad, but simply does not produce the happiness that we expect from them. And also craving for self-destruction. So the craving is the one that we add to our unhappiness, but that has three manifestations. One is craving for sensual indulgence, craving for self-identity, and craving for self-destruction. It's a more weird expression of craving. Yeah.
Is there a name for those three?
Yeah, Pali name. Yeah. Yeah, like yeah. The craving is tanha. So the kama tanha is the craving for sensual pleasures, and bhava tanha is the craving for maintaining the self-identity, craving for self-identity. The third one is called vibhava tanha, craving for self-destruction. It's actually it's more like a the third one is more like a weird manifestation of the first one too. It's more like when we want something to be in a particular way, when that doesn't happen, we kind of develop rejection to whole thing. But it's also a form of craving, like craving for self-torture. Yeah.
So one thing, when people say, "I wish I were dead," kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
circumstances.
And particularly,
So it's
yeah, exactly. And of course, we know that, some people commit suicide, and so if we examine their mindset, of course, people can have, very reasonable, situations and conditions in their life, that they make that such decision. But if you really examine the mind, the reason that they commit suicide is not because they have become selfless, not because they have somehow transcend their ego. No, it's the craving. I mean, because they expected their self, whatever condition to be in a particular way, when they cannot really do that, so that craving kind of flipped, and then developed that kind of different, more perverted kind of craving. Yeah, because there's again, when someone want to destroy self, so although they wanted to destroy it, but they already kind of attached to a particular self, and they want to destroy that self, which do not exist actually. But so there's an element of attachment there. But anyway, so that this whole practice is to kind of, based on that, right understanding, and then we understand that the unhappiness that we are going through is not a must, but many going through, and no one to blame for it. We just have to change the conditions. Just have to change conditions. So how we change the conditions is following this whole path and changing our mental conditions and also changing our behavior patterns. Then that we can gradually overcome. So this whole practice is also called the middle path, because this whole Noble Eightfold Path is called middle path because it avoids two extremes. One is the extremes of blind sensual indulgence. The other one is extreme of self-torture or extreme of deprivation, right?
Deprivation. Yeah.
Deprivation of the sensory experience. Because these are the two extremes that throughout the human history, people will either go for extreme forms of sensory indulgence as a way of seeking happiness and avoiding suffering. So as a way to avoid suffering and seek happiness, people try to indulge the senses, try to find a way to somehow excite it. And that's how people even go for drugs also, as a way of either avoiding suffering or seeking happiness. So that's one path that humans, civilized society, have been following for many, many centuries. That's one extreme. So different forms, so it can be different levels. And the whole economy today is also try to promote gratification of our senses, right? To gratify our eye, there are multi-billion business, right? Gratify our ear, another multi-billion. Gratify our tongue, another multi-billion business. So all this whole economy is actually driven to gratify our senses because we think that that's the way to be happy. Of course, we have failed many times, but we still we pursue that. So that's one extreme. But some people realizing that that's not working, and they go to the opposite extreme to deprive their senses, deprive whatever forms of pleasure. So they go for self-mortification, self-torture, austerity practices, and extreme forms of fasting, all kinds of things, thinking that our senses, our body is a burden for this happiness, and we just have to shut these things off. We have to deprive, and whatever this sensory pleasure is a burden. So that there are many forms of religious and other practices deprive senses, thinking that that will bring ultimate satisfaction, happiness. That's the other way that human beings have been following. But this Noble Eightfold Path kind of avoids all these two extremes. And on one hand, it doesn't encourage anyone to go for blind indulgence, and because that's going to make us dissatisfied at the end. But it doesn't go to the other extreme, saying that we should not do any kind of sensory as a pleasure. It's kind of asking us to be moral and don't deny the body, don't deny the senses, but take care of it. But then and skillfully use it to go into a deeper levels of calmness and deeper levels of the mind to experience different kinds of happiness. It's making use of the senses, making use of the body, and taking care of the body, and use it as a tool to go beyond the sensual pleasure, to go beyond the higher, more refined forms of happiness. So therefore it's also called the middle path. So, and then once you keep on practicing this middle path, there's a transformation happens. I think last week, Bante, you talked about the gradual path, right?
Yes,
Gradual, yeah. it's more like a gradual path, and
Ocean.
yeah,
How to go to the ocean?
yeah, the ocean has a gradual, gradual
Wave.
Decline.
decline. Yeah, gradual decline. In the same way, when we start to practice this, change will not comes at once like a precipice. Yeah, it will not happen like that. It will be more gradual, right? And as I found another interesting, simile given by the Buddha. Buddha explained that when someone has taken this practice seriously and continue to practice, deepening our right understanding, and based on that, and you start, change your behavior, and then you start like look into your mind and you try to observe your thoughts, your most of the time, and then practice this meditation, and your right understanding or the conceptual understanding will become more like experiential knowledge as a result. So there's more like a loop happening here, because our conceptual understanding will lead us to have a certain moral behavior, and the moral behavior will facilitate more mindful living, mindfulness of to our body and our thoughts, and then that will help us to have deeper levels of meditation. And the deeper levels of meditation, peace will develop, give us insights to confirm with our experience, what we started, before, like, how suffering arises, for example. So there's a loop happening. So as a result, what's going to happen? All our unwholesome, unskillful patterns of behavior, our our unhealthy patterns of thoughts or mental habits, which we call defilements. These things are going to go away slowly and slowly. So why we call it defilements, which means our unhealthy patterns of thinking, unhealthy patterns of emotions, unhealthy patterns of emotional reactions. Those things are going to change gradually. The simile given is that suppose a carpenter sees the marks of his finger and the thumb on the handle of his adze. Adze, adze is the it's a wood carving instrument. Like it's like an axe, right? Adze, you have a wooden handle. So when you have wooden handle and you use it for many days and many months, and what's going to happen? That handle, the wooden handle, is going to have of course, the marks of the fingers, but actually that wooden handle is going to decay, right? It's going to be shaped, going to be smooth, and then the more you use it, it's going to be smooth, and even also going to like decay, right? So there's an impact of our hands, of our of our fingers, of that handle. The more we use it, there's an impact on it. And you may have seen it in your armchairs, right? In your arm. more you rub it, after a while it becomes so smooth, so round. You may have such instruments, at your, maybe in the kitchen instrument also like that, right? And so he doesn't see how much of the handle was worn away today, or how much of it was worn away yesterday, how much of it's worn away previously. I mean, you can't really see that today, there's this much of, wood is gone. He just know what has been worn away for after a while, right? So there's like a gradual, worn out of that handle. We can't exactly say that, okay, today, this much of, wood was worn away, right? So, but after a while, you notice, oh, there's a change. In the same way, when a meditator is committed to development, they don't know how much of the defilements were worn away today, how much was yesterday, how much of previously. They just know after a while that there's a reduction, there's a change, weakness of there's a change of those patterns. So the more we practice, the more we experience it, but it takes a while. You don't see it, yeah?
I've found, especially having gotten into it and then taken very long breaks from
Breaks,
Buddhism,
yeah.
it's very similar if anybody's been to the gym or tried to run or to basically cultivate any sort of skill. It's the same sort of thing. Like slowly by slowly, you get sort of better and better at it and figure out what you're doing. Also, if you take a break from it, it sort of withers, but it doesn't completely go away. Like when you pick it back up, some things are still familiar.
If you can quickly pick it up, right? Yeah.
It's a quicker pickup than when you first start.
It's not that, yeah. Hmm.
Just to add to what he said, um, you were talking about the woodworker doesn't realize how much it's whittled down, but if you're taking a break from it, but you're using it more than you realize because it has, it's started and it's sort of ingrained and it's become a habit and you're using it more than you realize. So when you come back to it, it's not as hard to pick back up.
Yes, sure. I also wonder what we mean by really taking a break. Are we stopping our understanding about our suffering? Are we stopping the way we speak? Are we going back and keep on telling lies and cheating people? or are we, I mean, what do you mean by break? Like, I think once you start this way of looking at the life and this way of, observing our mind, maybe, of course, you may not have like a formal sitting of meditation, but, our practice, is something that, when you think about this Noble Eightfold Path, and these are the things that we can do that anywhere or any time in our life. Whenever we speak, whenever we behave, whenever you do your work, right livelihood, and whenever you do your job, you can do it, right? And of course, we can have some laxity, or we can have some negligence of our practice, but I don't know whether we can really take a break.
I just meant by break, like it's been deprioritized.
Yeah.
It's no longer like at the forefront of my mind. Yeah, and it's taking a back seat.
When we are developing, there is a gradual developing also in our mind. And also, I can remember once the Buddha mentioned about the irrigator, how irrigator bring water to the garden or paddy fields. So when there are some reservoirs, what the farmers are doing, so sometimes when we look at the developing of thoughts and wholesome thoughts, sometimes it's looking to the ground.
Yeah.
Like that, we
it's more like I think we can see the difference, like, I mean, when you practice in this meditation and, having a community like this, having this discussion, sharing with others, how to practice. And this can, the thing about a change, but it's something that we can only see when we compare, let's say, like, when you did not start this practice, maybe when you started, at the very beginning of your practice, how did you respond to, criticism? How did you respond, like, when someone, like someone complained, and shout at you, how did you complain? And how did you respond? How did you react? Yeah, and compare it now, and when I encounter a similar situation, is there any difference? Yeah. And maybe some occasions we will react the same way, but at least, at least many occasions you kind of become aware of your own agitation even before you react.
I catch myself.
Yes.
A lot easier now.
Yeah.
And a lot different.
And because we catch ourselves, and then sometimes we just follow the previous patterns of our reaction. But some occasions we can watch it and we can notice it and we can bring more awareness to it, and then we can purposely say different things and purposely do different, we can react differently, right? And when you do that, the whole result will be different. The whole, situation will be different because our reaction, our response is changing the others' reaction and everything. So we kind of co-create our world, right? Yeah. Okay, let's keep practicing. Keep practicing and develop deep understanding actually. The more our practice will, help us to have deep understanding, and our understanding will again,